Hello people of the internet. Today is Saturday and I have all my work for the week done, so I thought maybe I will take a look at some project that I normally don't contribute to, just to learn something new. So for today, I picked podman-compose. You see, I have a long-standing beef with Podman and I intend to win, so let's work on this together and fix the bugs that annoy me, so I can, or maybe we can, move to Podman. So for the people that don't know, Podman is basically an alternative to Docker. It uses the same Docker files or container files. It has the same features, at least from what I know. Like maybe it's not completely 100% compatible, but it's compatible in all the cases that you actually care about. So you won't notice. Basically, you can do alias docker equals podman and you won't even know. So it's basically one-to-one alternative. Of course, when I use Docker, I often use Docker Compose. So there is an alternative called podman-compose. The idea is the same. You should be able basically to say that Docker Compose alias Docker Compose equals podman-compose and you shouldn't even notice, but it's not as smooth here. For example, the UX or UI is probably the correct word here. Looks way worse than in Docker Compose. It doesn't accept multiple Docker Compose files at once, at least from when I tried back in the day, and other things. So I intend to fix those. Also, Podman itself works fine, and as I said, it's almost one-to-one alternative, but sometimes I had issues with, for example, missing a configuration on my host, which led to not being able to access internet inside of the Podman containers and so on. I never experienced such an issue in Docker, but it happened to me in Podman several times. I also had problem with, well, not me personally. I helped debug issue with multiple containers inside of podman-compose not being able to communicate with each other. So there was some firewall issue on the host, but like there was no. It was really hard to figure that out. So some nice error message would be fine in such a scenario and very useful. So I've had several issues like that. We will fix those eventually in the Podman itself. First, I want to start with podman-compose because podman-compose is written in Python, so it should be easier for us to fix. That's one thing. And also, by the way, Podman itself is in Golang, so we have some experience in that now, so we can contribute. But the issues in podman-compose are far more annoying to me than the issues that are in the Podman itself. So I think let's try to work on this. Let's clone the repo. Let's clone the repo. and go into the podman-compose. Let's discover new projects and podman-compose. Podman-compose.py probably. Right. Wow. Alright, so we have a script with 4,000 lines of code. Oops, that is going to be very, very fun. I'm not used to projects like this because I usually work with many files, and so I have splits of files. Now we will probably have to do multiple splits of the same file to view different portions of it. It is going to be annoying probably, but alright, that's what we need to work with. So we have some scripts directory, tests directory, GitHub, examples, documentation, completion. Yeah, there is no podman compose package basically. Seems that we have only the script. Excuse me. So check this out. If we go to, can we figure out how to run this? Is it as simple as Python podman-compose py? Seems to be. Seems to be. Nice. So check this out. If I go to Copper project and I do docker compose upd, and let's do only one container, and let's do builder because that doesn't expose any ports, so we can do docker compose up of the builder container, and we can do at the same time podman compose up. It shouldn't collide. The ports shouldn't collide because there aren't any. So you can see there is running one from one, check mark, container, and green running. So if we do the same, but we do podman compose up, and I don't want to do like the command from my operating system, I want to use the script from the repo so we can develop it. So that we also have the latest version, so that we can see, so that we don't try to fix something that is already fixed in unreleased main branch. So Python, my git directory, podman compose up, podman compose py, and let's try this. Alright, so it needs to build the container, which it didn't need to with Docker Compose because it's already built, it's already running, so the output was way simpler. We will see, we will wait until this builds and finishes, and then we can run the same command again, and the output should be basically the same as for the Docker Compose up, which I think is not going to be. And then we can try to improve it. This takes longer than I expected, but it shouldn't be too long. Like the container there isn't anything huge. Yeah, we build it. So clear the screen, Docker compose up, podman compose up, right? So I mean, yeah, basically. So there isn't even any text. Like I wanted to see if it said, for example, container this something. I would try to grab it inside of the code, but like there is nothing to go to start with. So let's try to understand the code. So we have the main branch at least, and we have what the hell? Oh, I pressed space. Sorry. We have async.io, async main, sure. Which does podman compose run, sure. So we are here. All right, we are already seeing a lot of async code. So it's embarrassing, I admit that, but I don't have much experience with async programming in Python, even though I'm like mainly, my main programming language is Python. Even then, I don't have much async experience. It's embarrassing. I didn't need to use it so far too much, so I don't have it. That's the real answer. All right, so here podman path, podman version. All right, that's not useful. Self podman. There is some semaphore. All right. Oh, there is a lot of async stuff here. Either way, I have no clue what we are doing here. So I think maybe if we jump into the podman class, what do we have here? Exec run, sure. I'm trying to find some up command. Volume ls, I mean, that's maybe reasonable because we probably should have something like a volume ls or volume, no. All right. Build, restart. But if we do docker compose volume, no, all right. By the way, the help output is also prettier. So there is no volume basically, but there should be at least like images, for example. That is the volume ls. By the way, what the hell is this? Network ls, volume ls, existing containers. If we try to search, for example, up is very bad command to search for. Let's try restart. Action in stop or restart. Podman compose restart. Wow. All right, so we have command run should probably should probably register the commands. So our up command should probably be registered by this decorator here, right? We found it. So it's line 3199. I mean, how do you work in file this long? Because if I jump anywhere, I will lose it. So I created mark for this, so we can go up and I can jump back to the mark. But I mean, I will need so many marks that I will forget even the mark names. So yeah. Building images, sure. I mean, detach, we used detach definitely. Starting containers, it didn't even print that. Or maybe because it's already running. Jesus Christ, this is complicated. I mean, this whole function has how many lines? So this function has 206 lines of the code. So how the hell am I expected to understand this? So we can probably put the debugger somewhere and basically step it line by line. Which is insanely annoying, but we'll probably have to, because like there is no way I'm going to understand this. So let's try again. So up builder. All right, so let's put the debugger at the very start of the function. Yeah, at least we got to the debugger. All right. So basically, let's bisect this so that we don't need to step line by line. So if we put it, for example, here, we are at the first one, second one. All right. And we don't get to the latest one. All right, so we can maybe try stepping. So continue. All right, so this is going to take too long. All right, so if we take this and put it, for example, here, so 93, we are here. All right, starting. Oh, there is the loop we got stuck in. Oh shoot. So this is the loop. So I guess we get the return here. Yeah, we get the return here, which means what? What's What's this? Generator, sure. If we create a list out of it, it's empty. Great. So then how does it print? Oh, it didn't print anything this time. It didn't even print this. It didn't print anything. Okay. It did now. Oh, sorry, I didn't see correctly. It printed the name here. So I still have no idea how does this work. What if maybe restart command is going to be simpler? I'm not sure. I'm not giving up. I'm just trying something else. So if we do restart, it has the same output. And how does it look like with Docker compose restart builder? So the same beautiful output as it had for up, it has also for this. Which means we could take a look at restart in case it's simpler. So once again, we are going to mark this with MM, and let's take a look and try the restart. So we will probably search for the command decorator, start, stop, restart. Transfer services status. This is much shorter. This is much shorter. So we get names by the service. Sure, that makes sense. Then I have no idea. Then for every service, right, so this is just some validation. In stop and restart, alright, so we somehow change the targets, doesn't really matter. And for target, we do basically timer. So the action is start podman args. We are creating podman args, so I guess we are going to run a podman action. Like we are going to basically run the podman command with an action which is going to be restart with these arguments, and the target is probably the name of the container, maybe, which is nice. But what prints the output? Like, if we put the debugger at the very end, podman-compose restart, we are at this very line. Did we have any output yet? I don't think we have. So next, so basically the gather tasks is what prints the output. So we need to take a look at It probably this function. Jeez, this is going to be mn run. So this is fun. Does it have some prints or log info? Okay, it's a process. So should we just put a debugger also here and just try it? So 75 is, yep, this is our run command. So maybe let's go, it already prints the value. So it's not very far away. So await create subprocess exec. So the, yep, I think that this is what prints the output. So, oh, the question is though, this is the log formatter. I think we are in the else branch. So let's put the debugger here and here and run again. So we are at 01. Yep, we are here. And if we jump to the next breakpoint, we already got the output. So this is the function that prints it. Now this is again some create subprocess command ls something, I have no clue. So once again, what's inside of the command ls? Yep. Why is it ls? I have no idea what that stands for. I thought ls like ls command like list or something like that. But it clearly means something different here. Anyway, so this is the command that we are executing, which brings me to a completely unexpected question. Is the ugly output from the podman itself, or is it does it something to do with the podman-compose even? What happens if I run this? If I go to the terminal and I run podman restart -t 10 this, so this output comes directly from the podman itself. It has nothing to do with podman-compose. All right, so that is an interesting finding. Now, is it the same for Docker Compose, basically? So can I do something like podman, not podman, Docker, but the same? In this case, these are dashes because with the new Docker it's named this way. Okay, so this is what output from the output from Docker and podman is the very same in this matter. So Docker Compose somehow needs to take this output and change it to something beautiful. If we do Docker Compose I want to use my alias so it's easily searchable. So yeah, it needs to basically, write something before it and something after it. So we can do that probably, or we cannot. So here we await, right? Which means basically after this line it is printed already. So we would need to do something like print container and print started, right? Is it completely bad idea or not? So jump, maybe let's disable the breakpoints so we can, all right, so it does some new lines first of all, which is sure, print does new lines by itself, but it's in different order, which is strange. Now, oops, what? That was caps lock probably. So if we take a look at this, what's inside of the P? It's the process output, or I don't know what's inside of it. The error stir out, so nothing. How? How is this possible? By the way, this is our, let's mark this MB. Let's take a look inside of, oh, this is async.io. This is completely outside of our purview. So yeah, this is not useful. So this is as deep as we need to go. So, by any chance, is it possible that it is printed by the P weight actually, and not this? So, if we take this and put it here, so maybe, yeah, that looks kind of reasonable. So if we do like int equals just nothing and put a space here and then put a space here, no, this is all right. So is it printed in random order or no? It's always first this and then this. Yeah, I think I don't know what I think. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I would think that await means, all right, this is an async function, and it could do something like in a different thread or something like that. But when we await it, like, we get to this code only once this is finished, actually. So how is this a problem? Also, Asyncio, we need to tell this to not write to the standard output. We need to tell it to write inside of our inside of some variable so that we can print it whenever we need to. But how? But how? That is the question. So if we take a look at the documentation for this, is Asyncio here? It is. So create subprocess exec. So program arguments, standard input, standard output, and error. All right, so this looks kind of reasonable to me. So we could do, this is MB, right? So if I do B, yeah, I get here. So what imports do we have? Is there some subprocess? All right, so we have subprocess imported, and I'm not sure if Asyncio subprocess is the same. I need pipe, basically. If subprocess pipe is passed to, all right, so let's try. Standard in output equals subprocess pipe, and the error equals subprocess pipe. And let's run this again, but this time we want the debugger here. Oh, by the way, yeah, if we do, see, it doesn't print the name of the container anymore, which means it should be in the variable that we get, the p1. So ppp std error, std error, no, std error, std out. So why are they not text already? If I do stir, no. Can I read from it? I think I can. Runtime warning was never awaited. What the hell? So if I do await outside function, so this is barf. So what if we don't use the debugger and we use something like foo equals p std error read await bar std out read? No clue. I cannot write today. What the hell is going on? So pp foo pp bar. I mean, that needs to be skill issue, clearly. It's not like there probably is some trick to do this inside of the debugger with the await inside of the debugger, but I have no, yeah, that needs to be a skill issue, which I'm not going to address at this very moment. Let's try to continue. So we have the name of our container. So basically we should be able to do something like, by the way, it is in bar, so in bar std out. So we should be able to do something like 0 started and format it with bar. So this is of course very ugly, so we need to do encode or decode. I have no clue which is which. Decode UTF-8 was never awaited. Coroutine object has no... Oh, come on. So we need to basically do something like this. Decode UTF-8. And we need to get rid of the new line there. So we need to do strip the white space out of it. Container, this started. This is a big win. So we can remove this garbage. We can probably format this a little so it's not kilometer long, right? And what now? We don't need the std error, it seems, and bar is of course the name of the container. So container, same here, and remove the breakpoint. If we run this, I have some print started somewhere. Oh, this one. All right, so this looks reasonable. The started, of course, needs to be generated too. And generated from what, actually? Also, I was thinking maybe this is not the right place where to change this. Maybe it would be better to change this in the here. But the problem is this function returns only exit code. So we don't have any information that we would need by that point. We are in that function that is directly to the restart. We would need to return the whole process here, the p value, not the exit code. I think we will need to do that actually, because this is probably called on many places Right, run is also a very bad. We can probably go back to this and I can find references. So if we find references, yeah. This is not so many places though. So if we jump, for example, here, await podman run, it doesn't even use the value. It doesn't. It returns none. Okay. So out of all of those, we use the exit status only on few places. All right. So maybe we can change it in this way. So our changes are here somewhere. Yeah, this one. So what if we don't print anything here, right? And instead we await the process, terminate it. All right, so here's some, sure, it always returns status code, but instead I mean, if we instead here return P, for example, the exit code will not be used, but we don't care about that for the moment. It doesn't print anything, sure, but if we go to here, we could basically print the text here. The problem is we cannot actually, because in case we have multiple processes at the same time, or threads or whatever, coroutines, I don't care. When we have multiple of those at the same time, we want them to update the UI at the same time, not here. Because here is I mean, after the gather, it's basically we would definitely need to do this after the gather here, but this is only one process, and here it's only one process, so it won't be helpful to us. So this sucks. We need to probably do it inside of the run. but how? Because the run is used for images, it's used for containers, network, whatever. So we cannot just use this. The format would basically need to be passed from the outside, which is a bit reasonable. But then how do you format the value here? Because, for example, this is a static text, but the started isn't. The started needs to be taken out of no, this is wow. So originally I thought finding the right place to change would be like 10 minutes and we would spend the majority of time going through Python libraries for printing beautiful text in the terminal, like colors and rendering and so on. And instead it seems we are not even going to get into that phase because like I have no clue how to adjust this. To me it seems this would need a larger refactor. And probably one more layer between the command and this run function, so that basically some kind of formatter I don't know what log formatter is. Yeah, basically some kind of formatter would be passed to print the output in a certain way. Which means basically, all right, so let's try this. Asterisk, why is the asterisk here? Task reference. So if we do, I don't know, something very like printer is going to be none, right? They do typing. All right, so I don't know how function is typed. Let's not do the type right now. I will show you what I mean. So if we have printer, then do something, then do this basically, and else do basically print what? So let's say this, print container, like this. So if we run this, we have the output as expected. Now let's open podman-compose.py and jump to, here, the restart command. Now podman args, okay, task podman run. So basically I think our printer is here. If we run this, no error. All right, so if we define our printer, let's say prods, and it doesn't do anything, and we will pass the printer. So now there shouldn't be any output. Oh, yeah, correct. Because we don't care what the printer is, we just use this. Now, if we used prods is good. Prods is good. I think we should for example, if we move this, basically started container. Now the container is going to be created like this out of the prods, and what if we do something like cover args equals a list? No, cover args needs to be a dictionary, right? So if we move these here, I don't like this very much. So anyway, if we do something like this, we have our cover args and pass the cover args here. And if we do something like if printer, then we do the cover args like this, else we will do cover args, or maybe we do just cover args equal empty dictionary here, so the else can go something itself. Right, so we have cover args, we call it. Now this is not needed, and this is not needed either. And if printer, then we just want to printer the P. I think this is what we want to do. So if we right now await outside of async function, yeah, async def, enable transmalloc to get object allocation traceback was never awaited. Oh my fucking god. So I need to await printer here. Yeah. Wow. If we don't use the... Sorry. Oh my god. So printer, yeah. Like this. So if we don't, yeah, if we don't use the printer, then it prints the value that it printed previously. If we use the printer, now it started. So this looks more reasonable. So there isn't anything specific to... There isn't anything specific to the restart command, and our restart command defines what exactly should be the output. Now, can we have a debugger here, or it won't? Okay, it works. So, do we have a clue what the action was? So there are targets, there is action. So I would kind of expect this to have the action available, but maybe it's because of the nature of the async function. Also, the action is here. Do I only have a typo here or no? All right, we have maybe 10 more minutes and then I need to go. So can we figure out the action or not? Action not defined. Do we have to do something like action equals action here? I mean, sure, this is ugly. I'm not proposing we do it in a like in the final code, but just for the testing, right? So this works. Okay. The problem is it's a restart action, and we want to print started, basically. If we do docker Asyncio restart, it goes from restarting to started. So we basically need So while the command is running, it needs to be container restarting and then the started. So we can do something like if action equals restart, then we will print these two. And of course we need to check the status code here of the process. So if we run it using the podman-compose and check the process exit code, what do we have here? pp. Why is not the exit code here? So do we have to do the p wait like this, proc wait like this? Yeah, that's the... Alright, so if we do... exit code like this, and it is proc exit code is 0, okay. So we can do something like status equals started if exit code is 0. We will do it differently. We will do failed if exit code else started. I'm not sure if failed is the right term here, but good for now. And we can do one, which is going to be status. And we don't need this breakpoint anymore. So container this, restarting, container this, started. Nice. So basically we can use some string formatting, some rendering library for Python, and basically re-render this word to this word. So let's take a look, shall we? For example, Python render color text. There should be some term color, maybe. This is only Python terminal UI textual. This looks more like TUI instead of command line that we need. Rich maybe. I heard of rich, I think. Python or demo. Here is a demo. Python rich. If we search for images, yeah. This looks like something we could use. Textual, rich, and blessed. This looks reasonable too. So we will use some of those, I'm not sure. We will definitely need to see which one of those, or which ones of those are packaged in the Fedora repositories, and probably use that. I'm not sure if podman-compose is in rel too, so if it is, we will have to take a look at the library that is actually packaged for rel. That would be maybe complicated. Or maybe we could just fall back to, like, if the library is not available, then the printers are not used. Now, this could work. Like, this could work. I think the way we invented doesn't actually break any other use case, because the default is to do the exactly same that was done previously. Only commands that define the printer have this special behavior. So approach like this would allow us to migrate one command at a time. That is really good. So I think we can work on this. The next time we will use some library to render this beautifully. And then I would propose it to the upstream if they have any interest in having something like that. If yes, then we can slowly migrate one command at a time. If they say migrate everything at once, then I'm going to disagree and bail, because I don't want to invest like a week of my time in migrating everything. But if they are fine with migrating one command at a time, then I think I could do it in the span of several months, for example, whenever I have an hour of free time here and there. I mean, this looks reasonable. This was, by the way, much bigger struggle than I expected. So as you can see, this is real, right? I mean, yeah, I even thought maybe we will finish the episode 20 minutes ago and just say, okay, this was too hard, screw it. So yeah, it was a struggle, definitely. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.